Less than 3 weeks since the start of the campaign to become the next mayor of Toronto, and it's been nothing but a whirlwind of ideas. Now there are officially 50 candidates in the running, all trying to make sure you know who they are and what they stand for.
Have fun, folks, okay? Take care.
Anthony Peruzza already has name recognition at City Hall as a city councillor, representing Humber River Black Creek in the northwest corner of Toronto since 2008. Now he wants to be mayor and plans on visiting every other ward in the city to spread the word. And he says no property tax increases for 3 years.
I want to get into every corner of the city and talk to Torontonians about how life is for them, how things are going, how they're managing to pay their bills.
Peruzza is one of a handful of candidates that may be known to some from their time in office or a following online, but may still be on the outside looking in, vying for some kind of attention. Longtime councillor Giorgio Mamaliti is also in the race for mayor. Former Sun columnist Anthony Fury has made a few announcements. So too has Rob Davis, once in local politics decades ago.
On a safe Bloor Street from the bike lanes.
All three have recently said no more bike lanes, including Davis's petition and lawn signs, in an effort to break through. Tough for you to get some attention when you've got so many other candidates out there.
Well, I'm not worried about attention. I'm more worried about the issue. I attended meetings last week at Swansea and Etobicoke Collegiate Institute. Hundreds and hundreds of residents came expressing frustration, and they were looking for somebody who was going to advocate on their behalf.
Chloe Brown made a name for herself running against former Mayor John Tory in the last election. The policy analyst turned candidate has a 3C policy focused on community, connectivity, and commerce. While trying to cut through the clutter in this race, she's very critical of the front runners and the tactics she says they're using.
There's a bunch of campaign lobbyists following my social media accounts, and I'm listening to Anna Bailao, Bradford, even Josh Matlow, like repackage things that I did in the last election and try to sell it. You will naturally see a lot of rhetoric coming from candidates who had the opportunity to push these ideas in council, but did not do it because it wasn't convenient.
Each of the hopefuls making an effort to be seen and heard, all likely thinking the same thing at this point. There's plenty of time to have an impact.
It's early days in the campaign. Just watch Peruzza go.
And just in case 50 candidates aren't enough to sift through, there are still 3 more weeks for those interested in running to register. Now, while others are fighting hard to make a name for themselves, some of the perceived front runners continue to roll out their platforms and promises. And that includes Josh Matlow, who is floating an idea that is likely to be unpopular with many drivers.
I'm announcing today that as mayor, I will be implementing a corporate parking lot levy. Anyone who just stands up at a podium and tells you that we can fight the climate crisis without putting dollars toward that goal is not taking it seriously and it is not being honest.
The idea of a parking lot levy isn't a new one. It's been floated at City Hall before as a potential revenue tool. It would see the owners of large malls and parking lots or public lots pay a set tax, which may or may not be passed on to drivers. Matlow estimates the levy would generate at least $200 million, which would apply to the city's net zero greenhouse gas emission goals. Meanwhile, accountability was the big buzzword on the campaign trail for Brad Bradford today. If he's elected mayor, the current Beaches East York councillor says he would issue public mandate letters to all senior city staff, clearly outlining duties and expectations.
There are fantastic, dedicated public servants who work very hard and deliver results. But like every organization, there are way too many who benefit from the status quo, who are counting down the days till retirement and mailing it in. No one's holding them accountable, and that's going to come to an end.
Bradford also pointed out that the strong mayor legislation would allow him, if elected, to fire city staff and hire new leaders if necessary.
Youth-related homelessness is at an all-time high. Youth mental health needs are also at an all-time high.
The issue of youth experiencing homelessness was on the mind of candidate Mitzi Hunter today. She's promising to spend $1.3 million to support their mental wellness and to provide permanent housing solutions. If elected, Hunter says she would establish 5 new outreach teams and expand funding to existing community partners.